So if you want to show up in as many ways as you can on SERP results, search engine optimization, your organic keyword terms, your map placement, your reviews, videos, all this stuff needs to work together. And if they can't tell what's going on, if they can't parcel that data and that great quality content that you did and everything else on that website well, simply going to lose points that it could have gotten, because they'll have to guess where things are located and guess what stuff is, like your logo, for example. You can get into schema code and just code and code and code, and the more they have, the more better you'll do. We of course do high-end custom WordPress sites here, and we do lots of schema code. The reason we don't buy templates is because we can't go in there and hit this stuff and other things on the code base as well, because it's a direct factor in how well you do online. Hey there guys, it's Nolan Walker, and today I wanted to discuss 10 ways to improve Google search ranking for contractors. And I've got quite a few things written down here, and I think it's a good list to go over. Google My Business, GMB, also referred to as the Google My Business homepage nowadays, and that account that you go into. It's got all kinds of things you can do and integrate, and the better it gets, the better you get at online search. It's a huge integrating factor. It needs to be taken seriously. We of course do all kinds of work on this for clients, but you can do all kinds of things with this. And you need to enter, of course, basic information, radius, service area, hours of operation, linking in, getting verified, all this stuff needs to be done. And then this ought to be worked on regularly. Reviews. Reviews is a big deal because it's getting bigger all the time, and they integrate through, they show up in search rankings. It validates your trust, I guess, with the search engines. It will show up in search rankings. It will help move your maps up. The other review sites besides just Google show up in search rankings. It helps your Google My Business homepage, meaning when someone types in your name and they see you, they see reviews across the web actually populate in when they're kind of viewing you. And so reviews is getting more and more popular. It should definitely be part of, really it should be one of the most serious things that you take advantage of. Content quality. I didn't say content, everybody knows you need content, but the quality of the content's gotten more and more serious. And really, don't put up a page just to try to get a keyword term. No more cities with just to try to get a keyword term. If you want a city, you'd better do a deep dive. Have it in a folder and have multiple other pages underneath it. And then the content itself needs to be highly structured, high quality, photos integrated in, bullet point steps, H tags, all that stuff needs to be just really structured perfectly. And if you want to see it show up in search rankings, it better be darn good content. Of course, we do that as well. LSI keywords or synonyms, it kind of goes back to quality of content. Gone are the days of just going, oh, I'll saturate this content, 1 or 3% with the keyword I want, and then just shove it into some basic junk that somebody wrote up around that word. That's definitely what you want to stay away from. Someone needs to do really high quality content. Schema code. That is a programming language, guys, that helps Google parcel data. So if you want to show up in as many ways as you can on SERP results, search engine optimization, your organic keyword terms, your map placement, your reviews, videos, all this stuff needs to work together. And if they can't tell what's going on, if they can't parcel that data and that great quality content that you did and everything else on that website well, simply going to lose points that it could have gotten, because they'll have to guess where things are located and guess what stuff is, like your logo, for example. You can get into schema code and just code and code and code, and the more they have, the more better you'll do. We of course do high-end custom WordPress sites here, and we do lots of schema code. The reason we don't buy templates is because we can't go in there and hit this stuff and other things on the code base as well, because it's a direct factor in how well you do online. Social signals, that is a big deal. You're going to have social signals determining how well you show up in search engine results. There's a pie graph from a well-known company called Moz that I remember seeing that showed that at least up to 20% of your search ranking is determined off of your social signals. And let's say, talk about this and say why. Because if somebody comes to your website and Google showed them, and it's the search engine, their job is to say, hey, we're vouching for this being pretty good. We think they deserve number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever ranking on organic or mapping and all this. We think these guys deserve to be up here. We're basing our whole search engine on these search results, by the way. And while we're talking about that, still 76% of people are looking at organic search results. It's the search engine's job, and then the paid stuff is what they make money at. So they're vouching for you. They're gonna give you a whole overall stamp of approval. And if somebody can't go to your website and read some good social post or whatever's going on the social aspect with your company, you simply aren't going to do as well in search rankings, because somebody that has a good social reach and activity is a better place to show somebody, because they can click off of that site, off that knowledge graph and that company, wherever they showed you, and they can have this good social experience, and it is part of a normal experience. So if you're not partaking in it, it will literally hurt your ability to show up on search rankings. So I could easily see some clients say, I'm a contractor and nobody cares about what I do. Well, you may not be as popular as other social sites out there, but if you don't provide any social basis at all, it's too fundamental of an item to ignore, and you will literally get penalized. I only want to show up on mapping. I only want to show up on organic. I only want to show, you know, you can't, it's got to all be together. And then they're going to take that as a clue, and it's literally going to affect your rankings. A lot of this stuff that we're talking about, guys, is literally, just so you understand it a little better, is things that Google grades you on all these items. That's how you show up. That's what search engine optimization and your search ranking is all about. Okay, so the location, and I'm talking about on location, I had written down the verification. Do you all know you need to be verified, right? You know you got to be verified. The days of, and I know this is frustrating for contractors, because no contractors, you know, just typically won't service one town. Very few of you live in a town large enough. And even in these large towns, you go outside of that town to get other business, right? And so it's a frustrating point. The days of getting a location that is virtual office is coming to an end. We saw that about 30 days ago, that Google actually started taking those down. I gotta tell you, from a business owner standpoint, we follow the rules of Google. It didn't seem bad to me that a contractor wanted to show up in a different city, because it's not fair that they move to the suburbs to their child to go to school, but you know, 90% of the population, and it's just an adjacent town. The search engines are giving you some credibility for location, and you do expand out on search much more than, say, a retail destination. But you are pigeonholed pretty well to that. If you want a location for expansion of how often you show up, if you're a smart marketer, calling people like us to get help, of course, is a good idea. You don't want to tackle this stuff all by yourself, because you miss so many points that you get graded on, and then you don't exploit marketing to the fullest, which is ultimately what makes business work well. But that location might literally need to have a legitimate spot. You know, definitely if you're going to move or get a location, you want to think about where it is. Even in the town, in case that location gets tighter, which by the way it has been over the course of time, because Google's trying to show the best search results. So this location's a big deal to everybody. They don't think you're as relevant if you're 20 minutes across town to a guy right next to those people. They know where this person is searching for it, whether on a phone or at home on a laptop or tablet. They know where you are, and you're more likely to show up to your clients if you're close to them. So guys, all this is great too, by the way. I get off on these and I feel like there's negativity. Man, there is so many places to show up and so much to be had online. You want to take advantage and do all these things and more so that you can show up. It's worth talking about your location. It's worth thinking about it. And it might be worth getting some cheap, you know, R-panel building somewhere, a corrugated building with a door on it that's a legitimate location, no P.O. box, no virtual office. You can still be out of your home if you have one location, but if you have more than 2 locations, then neither location can be a home. So there's rules on it right now, but a lot of contractors are still out of the house. So anyway, I'll move on. Blogging and content again. And what this is here for is blog and content. You can't just put on this quality content up here and then just go straight for static and no work. So it needs to be dynamically moving with content in several different ways. And okay, so what are those ways? Well, you could blog, you could add content, you could change content. Some of your pages should probably get updated from time to time. Of course, we do that as well. You should have something changing there. You should do maybe Google Map postings, and again, social media reviews, all this, reviews pulled in through the website. All this brings content through the site in a dynamic, changing way that's pleasing and tells the search engines that you're a better guy, better one to show up in ranking. Okay, video to me is content as well. I do a lot of it. A lot of the stuff that we do here gets chopped up a lot of different ways. So this is a podcast, this is the video, this is distribution through social media. I like it a lot. And we do that for clients as well, by the way. And domain authority is something that is a number that you have. You can look up online, free domain authority checker. And I'll tell you something, for contractors that we see that are successful, they're in the 20s on domain authority. Now, if you're a national brand, something we've all heard of, it's 80, 90, 100, or 70, 80, 90s for these big brands. They're huge. They have lots of inbound sites pointing at them. They've been around a long time. They've built up that domain authority. If you're a local contractor and you're in a large market and you have like a 15 or less, you probably don't show up much. The indicator is that you're newer, not many sites linking in. And guys, linking's a whole different discussion. You got to be really careful. We don't recommend any like paid or faulty or weirdo inbound linking programs, but the domain authority tends to be a result of that. There are clues that Google is starting to get beyond domain authority and its intelligence level to tell other factors is where you deserve to be up. But understand that time and tenure, linking, and all this is still an important factor because it tells them if they can trust you or not. And if other authoritative sites point at you, these are trust factors. So if you're a domain authority, you can go check it again and make sure you put the HTTP, hopefully you have the HTTPS ://www dot when you put this in a free domain authority checker. If you're below 23, 24, and your market is over 150, 250,000, then you're not competitive. If you're around that and you're in a small town, you might be. And if you're in a really large town, you better be pushing that thing should be going close to 30, 25 and up. And then you're gonna see that thing grow. We do tend to this for people. It's sensitive and needs to be legit, like totally legit, but it's a total different subject matter. And then guys, I'll throw in a bonus one here just to talk about it. Your design's important, man. And this one kind of frustrates me. Like, it's really important. And it's not that some bozo on the phone told you because they're trying to sell you stuff that they said it was good or that it looked pretty. That code base, like schema code, semantic markup, of course, structured URLs, load time, responsiveness, and that schema code does balloon out to infinity. It's ridiculously large amount of code. If it's a $60 WordPress template, which almost everyone has, by the way, even if the web sales dude or gal told you it was custom, it's not 99% of the time that we look at a website. That code base helps Google parcel data that's behind the scenes. And of course, the basic stuff like your title tags and things like that need to be done well, right? The deep dive content structured well, all tagged out right, all unique, all custom. But that code base is going to take points away. So let's say that you're in one of these $250,000 and up, or category or territories, or there's just lots of competition in this 100,000 and up town. They're going to grade all this stuff, every bit of it and more. I just didn't want to talk much longer than this. I like to do these videos when I'm on a whiteboard and punch it and give you some good information. And mainly why we do this is to get a client. We want to be a service. We've done this for almost a decade now. Dozens of great webmasters here, and we'd love to work for you Love to help you get dominant. I'd personally like to see you get dominant online. I'm proud of the company that we built. These are some of the things that we do here and some of the things that need to be done in order for somebody to get dominant online and affect your search engine ranking. So I hope you enjoyed it. I thought that was a pretty good one. I look forward to hearing from you someday.